It's time now for the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Village Motors in Millersburg.
This week's Knights Football Weekly Preview Show brought to you by Village Motors in Millersburg. I'm Mac Ray alongside Mike Kinsey, and West Holmes coming off a 34-6 road victory over the Worcester Generals on Friday night for their third consecutive victory. And Mike, that was about as complete a performance as West Holmes has had so far this year.
It sure has, and you know what I like about it is now we have like a triple threat. We have a quarterback that can throw, we have a quarterback that can run. We have a nice running back now, and wide receivers are making plays too. So we're starting to open up the offense a little bit more, and I think it's harder for the other teams to defend us.
Well, on that note, Morgan Smith, 4 touchdown passes of the game, but the more impressive than that, kind of what you're talking about, Mike, the 3 different receivers in the game. Logan Zollers, 2 passes, of course, in the end zone to Lynn Klein, also Maddox Graham in the game. So utilizing those different weapons they have on this team. Yeah, we definitely have, throughout the season, we've created some playmakers. And, we said that earlier, be patient. We're going to get used to things. Things are going to come along together. And, hey, I'll tell you what, I think it's between us and probably Ashland to win the conference. And I didn't know if we'd be talking about that after the first game either. No doubt. You kind of look at last week's performance also by the defense. So Worcester's running back, Julian Franklin, came in averaging 172 yards rushing per game. West Holmes held him to 51. Says a lot about that West Holmes defensive front. Yeah, we're getting better every game, and that's the key to having a successful season is you get better each game, and who knows where that'll take you at the end of the year. All right, with more, let's go back out to Knight Stadium to Jake Saito and Keaton Leppla.
Thanks, Matt. Here with West Holmes head coach Keaton Leppla. Coach, another big win against the Worcester Generals, kind of spoiling their homecoming. What can you tell us about what you saw from your team?
Yeah, I think what we saw from our team is our team just continuing to find what their identity is. Who we are as a football team. I think defensively we've kind of found our niche. We're going to get after people. We're going to pressure. We're going to be aggressive. And our kids really respond to it. Giving up 6 points against, they got 2 really good players, and Julian Franklin, Hayden Meese. So to contain those guys on defense is huge. And then offensively, again, we're finding our identity. We're finding what we're good at. Lynn Klein's been fantastic, catching the ball, running the ball. And Morgan really stood out last week with his reads and the throws that he was able to make, as well as, a couple, scramble drills, rolling around and throwing great balls, and, 2 of our guys making pretty good catches. So, I saw us almost get to that complete game that we've been looking for all year, and these guys continue to get better, and, we got a little bit of momentum right now.
Coach, speaking of Morgan Smith, over 270 yards passing, 4 touchdown throws. What can you tell us about just where he was at the beginning of the season to now?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, it's tough. It's a new system. It's a new scheme. It's a little bit different. There's a little bit more learning, on his plate. But, at the end of the day, Morgan's a great competitor. He's a kid who's going to do whatever it takes to win no matter what. So he's a very selfless guy. And just his progression of, being able to read a defense and how he can, throw guys open and deliver a ball has been very fun to watch.
Coach, it kind of seems like you guys are hitting your stride at the right season with the right part of the season, with the OCC really still wide open for the taking, with a couple weird losses for Mansfield Senior and New Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's a conference that, like I said every week, you never know what's going to happen. It's always going to be tough, competitive games. But yeah, I think we are hitting our stride. We're finding out who we are. We're doing what we do best. At the right time, and these. This next stretch in the OCC is going to be just the same. It's going to be 3 dogfights in a row, starting with Lexington, who's got, great athletes. It's going to be a dogfight, and, at the end of the day, somebody's going to emerge on top, and we hope it's us.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Minutemen a little bit here. Another one of those squads that over the past few years have really come into their own with some very good athletes over at Lex. What are you expecting to see out of them?
Yeah, they're kind of in the same boat that we are. The beginning of the year didn't start out the way that they wanted it to, but they're on a 3-game win streak just like us. So they're finding their identity, what they're really good at, what they're going to focus on, and they're hot right now. They got obviously Fogel, who's a Division I recruit at wide receiver. Who's a kid who can do everything right, and he's going to still come down with the ball. Quarterback from last year, he's got another year under his belt. He's throwing the ball really well. He's running the ball really well. And they're heavy junior loaded, so they got a lot of kids that have been playing since they were freshmen and sophomores, so they got some experience under their belt. But as far as our quarterback, running back, wide receiver, they got some really good athletes and some guys who can make some extraordinary plays.
Okay, Coach, what are you guys doing to get ready?
Yeah, we're just taking it. I talk to our kids. We gotta keep that chip on our shoulder. We gotta stay hungry. We can't let complacency, fall into any part of the program, any part of our game, practice, game, whatever. And then we're big about we started this about 3-4 weeks ago. Is we want to be 1-0 at the end of the week. So we're back to 0-0. We're back to we haven't played a game yet. We got to play with a chip on our shoulder. We got to be hungry, and we got to fight to be 1-0. Whether it's 1-0 at the end of the week, whether it's 1-0 after each practice, we're focused on winning each rep, winning each practice, and then getting a win on Friday.
Okay, well, Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck against Lex on Friday.
Absolutely, thank you.
Back with West Holmes sophomore Maddox Graham and senior Morgan Smith. Maddox, we'll start with you. 10 tackles, a sack, and a touchdown reception against Worcester on Friday. Can you just tell us a little bit about your game and what was kind of going through your mind throughout the contest?
Yeah, it was a great game. I mean, the whole time I knew we were going to have to shut down their running back and their quarterback. We knew that they were kind of the powerhouse of their team, and they were going to score most of the points for them. And we ended up doing that, and, I mean, the rest is history on offense. We just had some really good play calls and some really good tosses from our QB over here.
How does it feel for you when you get past that offensive line and are able to get a sack?
Feels really good. I mean, I love having the coaches that I have and coaching me up the right way, showing me the correct techniques to pass rush. And, I just think it's a feeling that's pretty undescribable. You just kind of have to do it to know what it feels like.
Morgan, we'll talk with you now. Over 270 yards passing. You threw for 4 touchdowns. And it really seems like each week you've taken another step forward in this new system. What can you tell us about what you saw against Worcester and kind of your development throughout the year?
Yeah, I've just been taking what the defense gives me, just flick it out to my receivers, let them do the work. I mean, Lynn had, I don't even know how many yards. Brock, he had whatever. And just feed my receivers and let them do what they can do, and that's about it.
And I'm sure it helps when you've got some great receivers on the outside that are able to get open.
Yeah. And then like third down, Blake Weiss, I mean, he's all reliable. I can just flick it out to him. I think he has 7 first downs on 9 receptions, and, Chance, I mean, every once in a while he gets in, he can make a play too, so.
So you got Lexington coming up on Friday. What are you doing to prepare for the Minutemen?
We're just working hard to practice. Like Coach Leppla says, we go 1-0 every day, and then just win the day, and then it translates on to Friday night, and just keep doing that.
Maddox, with your defense, what are they doing to get ready for a Division I recruit?
We are, we're practicing hard every day. We're working a lot on our pass rush this week and trying to shut down their QB because, they like throwing that number 8, Braden Fogel. So if we can take him out of the equation and stop their run game, I think it'll be a pretty good night for us.
Okay, well, guys, good luck on Friday against Lexington.
Thank you.
We'll send it back to Matt Croy.
All right, Jake, thank you. Alongside Mike Kinsey once again from Village Motors. And, Mike, it is October. The supplier pricing has continued for both Ram trucks and in-stock Ford F-150s as well.
Yeah, we had a big push there at the end of the month, and we sold quite a few vehicles. And, with the supplier pricing, you not only get a good price, but there's good incentives out there. There's good financing incentives out there. So now is a good time to buy a car. If you've been waiting for the time, now's the time.
Plenty of reasons to stop on by right here at Village Motors on Worcester Road in Millersburg, on the web, villagemotorsinc.com. Or West Holmes enters this week's 7 matchup, a record of 4-2 on the year. They're also 3-0 in the OCC. They've won 3 straight, and they'll be on the road again, taking on Lexington. The Minutemen come in with a record of 3-3, but they've won 3 games in a row. They're 2-0 in the OCC, fresh off their 19-6 road victory over Mansfield Senior a week ago. Of course, you go to last year's matchup in Night City, and West Holmes, really an impressive offensive display when they won over Lexington 62-28 in that game. A game where West Holmes amassed just under 500 yards of offense and just under 400 yards passing in the game. Morgan Smith accounting for 8 touchdowns in that performance for West Holmes in that victory. The Knights have now won 4 straight over the Minutemen, and the last win for Lexington over West Holmes back in 2019 when they won at 28-24 in Knight Stadium. But you look at this matchup, Mike, and you're really getting to that fun part of the year, right? Week 7, 2 unbeaten teams in the OCC. This is kind of what it's all about.
Yeah, and just what you said, I'm sure the Lexington hasn't forgotten that beating either. And, hey, they're a good team. They're a very good team, but I feel very capable, or that we are very capable. If we come in and we play our game, we're going to come away victorious.
Nice thing for West Holmes here at this point. It seems like you kind of talk about this getting better every week. Sometimes that's a cliche. Sometimes it kind of goes the other way. But it really does feel like this West Holmes team continues to get better each and every week they play.
That's a sign of a good team, because the poor teams do not get better each week, but the good teams, they do get better. Like we talked earlier, it seems like the team is gelling, knowing what we can do and what we can't do, and we're capitalizing on our positive things. And I think we're moving right along the way we should. Things are good.
It should be a fun one on Friday night. Don't miss it here on WKLM. Reminder, we will not be video live streaming that game. Not permitted to live stream the game on Friday, but we will have it live on FM 95.3 and WKLM-FM.com. Our hometown football Friday night pregame show, as always, begins at 6 p.m. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. For Mike Kinsey, I am McElroy. Special thanks, of course, to Jake Seidel, Keaton Leppla, along with Morgan Smith and Maddox Graham. And that's been this week's Nice Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Village Motors in Millersburg.
You've been watching the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Village Motors in Millersburg.